And the funny part is that I used to think that I was smart enough not to get into it.
That's the thing about getting played. It's not desperation that gets you, it's confidence. We're calling him Grant Trust. Not his real name. He asked us to hide his face, hasn't told his friends, hasn't told his family. Too ashamed. But he's sitting here with us anyway because what happened to him could happen to you.
I couldn't talk to nobody, trust me, and nobody knows about this. Because it's a shame, it's embarrassing, and I want people to learn from my mistakes.
He didn't think he was too desperate. He thought he was too smart. That's the cruelest part of this story. The man you're about to hear from didn't see himself as a typical victim. In his own words, he used to think he was smart enough not to get into it. He had a good life, he understood technology, and he believed he could see through obvious scams. And that's exactly why this worked. He met a woman on Facebook dating. Normal profile, normal conversations, video calls over FaceTime. Months of talking every single day. It felt safe. It felt real. It felt like a proper modern relationship. Then came the crypto investments. Then the profits on the app. Then the loan. And by the time it all came crashing down, he had lost around $70,000 and still couldn't bring himself to tell his family or his friends what happened. If you're watching this and thinking, I'm not the type who would fall for that, this video is exactly for you. Because this scam is not built for people who know nothing. It's built for people who are confident, smart, and convinced they would never be a victim. In the original report, they call him Grant Trust, not his real name. He asked them to hide his face. He hasn't told his friends. He hasn't told his family. He is too ashamed, but he still chose to sit down and talk on camera. Why? Because what happened to him can happen to anyone. When he says, "It was heartbreaking, I couldn't believe it." That isn't just about the money. It's about the shattering of his identity. He wasn't just robbed, he was forced to question his own judgment, his own intelligence, his own ability to trust himself. Most romance scam victims stay silent for exactly that reason. They're not only grieving the loss of money, they're grieving the loss of the person they thought they were, someone who would never get played. Grant is speaking so that you don't have to learn this lesson the hard way. Before we break down exactly how this happened, I need to share something with you. Over the last few months of covering dozens of these stories, this community has grown incredibly fast. And while these videos are great for spreading awareness, I realized you need something practical to actually protect yourself. That's why I built Fraud Shield. I took everything I know about how scammers think and operate and turned it into an interactive defense toolkit. Here is how it works. You start with a scam IQ quiz to find your blind spots. It includes a 59-page premium PDF guide built directly from 86 real cases and $50 million in documented losses. It maps out exactly how major scams work, from crypto fraud and fake investments to romance scams and government impersonation. Consider it the exact operating manual scammers use, revealing their psychological triggers so you can spot them instantly. Then, a 30-day tracker builds your digital defenses step by step to keep you consistent. There is a family protection system to set up emergency safe words, and a final test where you can earn an official Fraud Shield certificate. A few bucks today could literally save you your life savings tomorrow. Right now, for the first 50 members, it is just $9 until June 1st. After that, the price goes up. It is a one-time purchase for the price of a cup of coffee. You get lifetime support and lifetime updates. Whenever I cover a new scam, the system updates automatically. Distractions are everywhere right now, so don't overthink this. Take quick action, protect your family, and don't be the next victim. The link is right in the description. Because once you understand the exact psychology these criminals use, you take their power away. Which brings us to today's case. His story starts on Facebook dating. That's important. This wasn't some shady pop-up website or random WhatsApp number. It was a major, mainstream platform that millions of people use every day. Her profile looked normal. Her conversations felt normal. Nothing in the beginning screamed scam. And unlike many quick-hit frauds, this one did not move fast. They talked for weeks, then months, every day. They built routines. FaceTime calls became a regular thing. The connection didn't feel rushed or forced. It felt earned. That slow pace is crucial because it short-circuits one of the main warnings people are usually told. If it moves too fast, it's a scam. This one didn't. And that's exactly why it worked. Grant showed the reporters her photo. This is Kay. He describes his reaction very simply. You get excited, right? I mean, she's beautiful. She talks to you nice. Those two things, appearance and attention, are the hooks. She looked like the kind of person he'd be proud to be seen with. She spoke to him in a way that made him feel chosen, special, and wanted. Over time, they developed what he describes as real emotional attachment. They talked every day. They had FaceTime calls. It was not just texts. There were real-time conversations, real voices, real faces on a screen. From his point of view, this wasn't some fantasy. It was a relationship, and that's where something very human and very dangerous kicks in. Confirmation bias. The reporter explains it clearly. Confirmation bias means that when we see something we desperately want to be true, we start actively searching for reasons to believe it and ignoring signs that it might be false.
And it was heartbreaking. I mean, I couldn't believe it, obviously. But
It started on Facebook dating, normal profile, normal conversation. We verified everything he told us, police reports, FBI complaint, Better Business Bureau filings, screenshots from the chats and apps. He reported it all. He showed us her photo. This is Kay.
honestly, it did. You get excited, right? I mean, she's beautiful. She's good looking, and she talks to you nice. And it took at least a month or two to really get to know each other in a way, obviously talking every day. And yeah, emotionally, you get attached.
This wasn't fast. That's important. Months of talking every day. FaceTime, routine. It felt real, which is why it worked. It's called confirmation bias.
When we see something that we truly want to be true, we will confirm it is true for ourselves, even though something within us knows it's too good to be true.
Grant really wanted this to be real. He wanted Kay to be an actual person who liked him, chose him, and cared about him. So every normal interaction, every sweet message, every successful FaceTime call became proof in his mind that this was legitimate. When small inconsistencies appeared, when something felt slightly off, his brain smoothed over the rough edges. That's what confirmation bias does. We argue away the doubts. We tell ourselves, no, it's fine. I'm just overthinking. Former FBI undercover operative Eric O'Neill puts it this way. Something inside us usually knows better. But we don't listen. We override that inner alarm because we're already emotionally invested. And that's exactly where the scammers want you. Attached enough that logic has to fight uphill to be heard. At some point, the conversation turned from emotions to money, but not in the obvious way. Kay told Grant she was making money trading cryptocurrency. That's a smart move from the scammer side. Crypto is complex, exciting, and loaded with stories of people getting rich quickly. To someone who's curious and confident, it can look like an opportunity, not a trap. She offered to show him how. They started small. $100, he put money into a trading app. The app showed profits. Then he tested it by withdrawing a few $1,000s. And it worked. He got the money back. That test withdrawal is one of the most dangerous parts of the scam, because it builds trust at a deep level. Suddenly, this isn't just someone saying I love you online. This is someone who just helped you make and withdraw real money. Your brain takes that as proof. If I can withdraw, it must be real. If she wanted to scam me, why would she let me take money out? In reality, that small success is bait. It is an investment in your trust, because scammers know what comes next. After that successful withdrawal, Grant felt safe. So he kept going. He invested more and more. The app screenshots showed bigger balances, larger profits, everything climbing. The numbers on the screen felt like his future, money he could use to pay off debts, build savings, or change his life. Eventually, he took out a $40,000 loan to keep investing. In total, he lost around $70,000. The breaking point came when he tried to withdraw more of his supposed profits. Suddenly, the app locked him out. No withdrawals, no access. All that money, gone. When he confronted Kay and asked, "Why are you scamming people?" she replied with a sentence that is ice cold, "Because you are stupid." That line shows exactly how little empathy exists on the other side of the chat window. For the scammer, this was never about romance or connection. It was about how far they could push someone's trust and confidence, and how much they could extract before the illusion collapsed. After everything fell apart, Grant went back to the Facebook dating app. He searched, and he found her. Again. Same face, different names, multiple profiles.
Former FBI undercover operative Eric O'Neill says something inside us knows better. We just don't listen.
You feel disappointed, you feel betrayed, you have everything. And plus, you know you're losing all this money.
Kate told Grant she was making money trading crypto. Said she'd show him how. Start small, $100. The app showed profits. He tested it, withdrew a few thousand. It worked. So he kept going and going. Took out a $40,000 loan. Lost $70,000 total. When he finally tried to pull out more, the app locked him out. He confronted Kay. Why are you scamming people? She wrote back, because you are stupid.
I went back to this Face app, the Facebook dating app, and I found her with other profile, with other names, same pictures, other pictures.
We always say, think from the mind, from the head, not from the heart. Because the moment you have relinquished your logic, that's where you lost the battle.
We show cybersecurity expert Ethan Ravi this photo. Took him 5 seconds to spot it. AI. It's letting scammers run industrial scale fake love.
AI usage when it comes to cyber criminal and fraud related cases had spiked by 70% in the past 12 months alone.
He says they're not hacking systems anymore, they're hacking people, and it's all built for people who think they're too smart to fall for it.
This is another standard pattern. Scammers rarely put all their efforts into one identity. They clone the same AI-edited photos and persona across many accounts, each targeting different people. If one victim catches on, they move on to the others. For Grant, seeing Kay recycled like that was another emotional blow. It confirmed that the person he thought he knew was not unique, not special, and not real. She was a mask strapped onto a network. In the report, you hear a clear warning. We always say think from the mind, from the head, not from the heart. Because the moment you have relinquished your logic, that's where you've lost the battle. That's the core of this entire case. Scammers don't just hack your bank account. They hack your emotions first. They use time, praise, routine, and AI-generated content to wear down your skepticism. Little by little, your heart starts leading the way. And once your heart is in charge, your brain doesn't stop working, but it starts working in a different direction. Instead of scanning for danger, it starts building justifications. She's real. We video chat. The app let me withdraw money once. Why would she waste months talking to me if this was fake? By the time your logic returns, the money is gone. The reporter showed cybersecurity expert Ethan Raviv a photo of Kay. It took him about 5 seconds to say what it was. AI generated. We are no longer dealing with scammers who just steal photos. Increasingly, they are using AI tools to generate faces that look real but belong to no one. Clean lighting, symmetrical features, slightly generic but attractive looks. No reverse image search will reveal a real person behind them because there is no real person. Raviv says AI use in cybercrime and fraud has spiked dramatically in the past year. Estimates from banks, security firms, and regulators show major increases in AI-enhanced scams. Deepfake profiles, AI-written messages, and even cloned voices and video. They're not just hacking systems anymore, they're hacking people, and they are using AI to scale it. Instead of one scammer talking to a handful of victims, AI allows a single operator to manage dozens or hundreds of conversations at once, each one tuned to the victim's personality, style, and emotional triggers. Grant admits something a lot of victims feel but rarely say. I couldn't talk to nobody. It's a shame. It's embarrassing. This silence is one of the scammer's greatest weapons. As long as you feel too ashamed to tell anyone, you're on your own with your confusion and your pain. You don't get reality checks. You don't get support. You stay in the dark. That's why in so many cases people keep sending money even after they suspect something is wrong. They are trapped not just by the scammer, but by the fear of what others will think if they admit what's happening. Grant decided to speak out, knowing millions of people would see his story. That is not weakness. That is courage. You might think the story ends there. Money lost, lesson learned. It doesn't. After he realized he'd been scammed, Grant did what most reasonable people would do. He started looking for help. Lawyers, investigators, services that claimed they could track the money and recover it. He found online ads promising exactly that. People who said they would help him investigate, follow the trades, and get his money back. He paid about $3,000 to one of these so-called legal aid or recovery services. And that turned out to be another scam. Experts warn that many fund recovery services are run by the same networks that run the original scams, or by opportunists targeting people at their most vulnerable. When you are desperate to fix a mistake, you are at high risk of falling for a second attack. If anyone promises to get your lost crypto or scam money back in exchange for a fee, that is a massive red flag. Grant's story is not rare, it is part of a wave. In the report, they mentioned that last year in Illinois alone, people lost around $36 million to romance scams. Nationwide, the total was around $1 billion lost to romance and relationship fraud. FTC and FBI data show that romance scams have been setting new records year after year. Losses in the U.S. have climbed into the billions over the past few years, with a growing share of those losses paid in cryptocurrency. These are not small mistakes happening here and there. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry built on emotional manipulation, long-term grooming, and now AI. And it targets every age group, from young adults to seniors. O'Neill and Raviev warn that this problem doesn't stop at dating sites or grown-up relationships. Attackers are using social media profiles that look like beautiful young girls to target teenage boys. Here's the pattern they describe. The conversation starts innocent. It becomes more sexual, spicy, over time. The teen receives a nude photo, then they're told, "It's your turn." The moment they send an intimate image, everything changes. Suddenly, the person on the other end threatens to send that picture to everyone the teen knows, family, friends, school, unless they pay money. That's sextortion, and it's exploding worldwide. There have been multiple cases where teens, overwhelmed by shame and fear, have taken their own lives after being caught in this trap. Each of those deaths is a human tragedy born from the same formula: emotional manipulation, plus hidden predators, plus silence. This is why conversations about online relationships and scams are not optional anymore. They are a safety requirement for families. Grant is not silent anymore. He's in therapy, trying to process the betrayal, the shame, and the loss. He deleted all his dating apps. He's paying off his debt every month and will be doing that for at least a year, maybe longer. Police are investigating, but he has no real updates yet. O'Neill explains one of the reasons. Many of these scammers are overseas, in countries where they're hard to identify, and even harder to extradite. That doesn't mean nothing can be done, but it does mean justice is slow and often incomplete. What Grant does know is this: he still wants to love and be loved. He still believes that connection is worth the risk. But he also knows now that it can never again come at any cost. If this story is making you uncomfortable because you see pieces of yourself in it, that's a good thing. Discomfort is the first step to awareness. On this channel, we don't just point and say, "Look at this scam." We walk through each step of what happened, why it worked, and how you can spot the patterns in your own life or in the lives of people you care about. If you want more of this kind of deep dive breakdown, where we connect the emotional story to the psychology and the AI tactics behind it, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Think of it as adding another layer of armor between you and the people trying to weaponize your feelings. Let's summarize what you can take away from Grant's experience so you don't repeat it. Length of time is not proof of safety. Just because a relationship has gone on for months, even with regular video calls, does not mean it's real. Long con scams are designed to run over weeks or months to earn your trust. Video calls can be faked or strategically limited. Some scammers use AI-generated faces or pre-recorded content. Others carefully control lighting and angles. A few FaceTime calls do not guarantee authenticity. Look at the whole pattern: excuses, inconsistencies, reluctance to meet in person. Profitable test withdrawals are bait. If you invest, earn, and successfully withdraw money once, that's not proof the platform is legitimate. It's proof the scammers are patient. They often allow small early wins to set up a massive loss later. Crypto opportunities plus romance is a huge red flag. Any romantic interest who urges you to invest in crypto through a specific site or app should be treated as a potential scammer until verified beyond doubt. Legit partners do not pressure you into risky investments. Never pay recovery services promising to get your money back. Many are scams on top of scams. If you've been a victim, report it to legitimate authorities like the FBI's IC3, your bank, and your local police. But do not send more money to strangers who claim they can fix it. Talk about it. Shame protects scammers. If something feels wrong, speak to someone you trust. Friend, family member, therapist. Outside perspectives can cut through the fog that confirmation bias creates. Teach teens about sextortion before it happens. Make it clear that if they ever get trapped, you will help them, not punish them. The goal is to make them feel safe coming forward before fear and shame lead them into deeper danger. So here's where we end. A man who thought he was too smart to be scammed meets a woman online. She's kind, she's beautiful. They talk for months. They FaceTime. She introduces him to a world of easy crypto profits. He tests it. It works. He takes a loan, he goes all in, and then the screen goes dark, the account locks, and everything he thought he knew about himself starts to crumble. He says he will never forget the message she sent when he finally confronted her. Because you are stupid. But if you've watched this far, you know that's not the truth. He wasn't stupid. He was targeted by a system that knows exactly how to bend smart, confident people until they break. If this video opened your eyes, even a little, share it with someone who uses dating apps or who talks to perfect strangers online. Not to scare them, but to give them the chance to pause and think before they hand over their trust, their photos, or their money. And if you want to go deeper, the next video I recommend is about the new wave of AI-powered romance scams, how deepfake faces, voice cloning, and chatbots are being used to create perfect partners at scale. Once you see how those tools work, a lot of things you see online will start to look very different. If you found value here, consider subscribing, not for my sake, but for yours. In a world where scammers are using AI to study your habits, your emotions, and your weaknesses, staying informed isn't just interesting. It's protection. Take care of yourself, take care of your people, and remember, real love never needs you to sign a loan, download a sketchy app, or send crypto to prove that it's real.
I couldn't talk to nobody, trust me, and nobody knows about this. Because it's a shame, it's embarrassing, and I want people to learn from my mistakes.